Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Get Fresh, Stoughton's own cooking show. As usual, I have with us Laura McDougall and Carlos Vargas, and we're going to cook burgers today. And just to let you know, we named the show Where's the Beef? Because there's no beef in any of these burgers. They're all different. And most of them aren't on the grill, although some of them could be cooked on the grill. It's really hot today, so we decided to cook in for you. So the first burger we're going to do, that Carlos is going to take the lead on, is a black bean burger.
A black bean burger.
So
my favorite burger.
Yeah, is it your favorite?
Yeah, it's my favorite. So if you
Do you think it's
wouldn't mind-
low-cal?
Absolutely, it's low-cal. It's as low-cal as you want to make it. So it's first you need to kind of chop up some ingredients here, and
Doing half of this?
a third.
A third, okay.
Thank you.
Just so you know, the recipes that you're going to see online when you look after the show are the full recipes. We're cutting them in half or thirds, depending upon what seems appropriate. But you will get the full recipe, so you can feed a crowd.
Yeah, this actually makes 10 burgers, the full
Right.
recipe, and they freeze really well.
Oh, great.
You freeze them before you cook them, correct?
Well, you can. You don't have to because they stand up pretty well, but they actually last in the freezer for months.
Really?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so you just kind of
That's
do
always
this.
helpful.
And
So this is a habanero pepper
it
you're
is a
using?
habanero pepper, so you can make it as hot as you want it to make it.
By getting rid of the seed?
Yeah, so I'm actually Kathy is not a hot seed person, so I usually just
And I
take
don't
the
like anything hot, you all know that.
Well, one thing I find that helps is when you're cooking with hot peppers, they will vary. And like jalapenos, I've had as sweet as the green pepper and as hot as like tears
Really?
coming out. Cut the tip off and taste it before you use it.
Right,
It's always a
right.
great way to make
That's a
sure you
great
don't get too
tip.
much
That
heat.
is a great tip. Just so you know, we got the peppers today, and we got the peppers from
Yeah, please, thank you.
Fairmount Farms, which is at the Stoughton Farmers Market. We also got the onions from Lane Gardens, and some of the other ingredients we're going to be using later, cilantro, scallions, chives, etc. We've gotten from a lot of the vendors at the farmers market. And we're going to have a huge treat for you.
Eat half of that.
Yep.
Thank you.
What you're doing here is letting these onions and peppers sweat a bit.
Sweat out a little bit. Yep, about 10 minutes.
And that means just sit in the pan and cook.
Yeah, not brown, just
Yeah.
more of they turn a translucent color. Am I
Yeah.
correct? I learned that from you.
There you go.
I just burn them, but just kind of toss them in here. They do its thing.
Just color correct that, no
So
problem.
these have to sweat for maybe about 10 minutes?
Yep, and you can use a green pepper, a red pepper.
Right.
You can use whatever you
brought
like.
both from
Yeah,
them,
yeah. You
So,
can,
and you're cutting up garlic to
So
add in
it's a
there?
for our recipe, half a clove of garlic, just minced up.
and you don't want to burn the garlic because burnt
No.
garlic
Garlic burns
does-
much quicker than
Yeah.
all of these other things in the pan.
Yeah,
So you
get
really
your
have to
onions
be
started
careful of the
first.
heat.
Oops, sorry, Karen. As I say, when you're cooking with onions and garlic, it helps to cook the onions for a little bit first and then add your garlic in.
Right.
And that way there's less chance of burning.
Right. So while these are kind of sweating out, Laura's going to start the pork bulgogi burger, and we're going to tell you what bulgogi is. I have to tell you, I did not know. I never heard of it.
Never heard of it either.
But it's a Korean barbecue way
It
of cooking,
is.
and Korean barbecue is delicious, really.
Yeah.
It really is. There's a lot of really wonderful flavors. There's a lot of that sweet and salty and the umami, that fifth sense that going on in Korean cooking. So the bulgogi is actually, it's from ancient times, and it was a way of cooking, and it basically meant heat. Oh gosh, what was it? It was like hot meat, basically.
Yes, hot meat.
So it's very thin slices of
Spicy.
beef, typically, that's been marinated for a lot of flavor and then grilled on a grate or on a griddle, and it just gives it
mix
really
them over
wonderful
here.
flavor. So that's where the name comes from.
Oh, that's great. So we're
Ancient times.
using
Ancient times.
So we're
ground
doing
pork.
ground pork, and in here I have a little garlic. I have some sesame oil, some ginger, some sesame seeds. So we're going to get that in there. We'll get rid of that. And then we're going to add in some, make sure I don't miss any ingredients. Now, don't get scared by this recipe. It looks like a lot of ingredients. It goes
It does.
quick.
It's just a little bit of
gonna be
everything.
So good, so good. So we have, we're going to do a couple scallions. And you want to make sure when you pull your scallions, you always have this one like stringy piece. Make sure you take that off because A, it doesn't cut well, and B, it sure as heck doesn't taste very good.
And you can tell by the look of it that it isn't the piece to cut.
Yeah, and as
just
soon as you
looks-
cut,
yeah.
it's that piece that gets slippery, so you want to take that off. So we have our two scallions, and we're just going to mince that
Get these
up.
out of the way.
And we have our garlic in there already. If you want to just start mixing that a little bit, Carlos,
Sure,
for me,
absolutely.
that would be great. And you want to make sure to get all these ingredients just mixed really well. So again, we have our scallion that I have right here. You're going to mince it up fine. Our garlic, our ginger is in there, our ground pork.
Well, it
Smells good already,
Yeah, the
doesn't it?
ginger and
Yeah.
garlic.
There you
Smells
go.
great.
This pork was ground fresh this morning. I
Oh,
stopped by
perfect.
Adelina's store.
Which is
and
fabulous, International Gourmet,
Yeah,
which
it's
is in
gorgeous.
Brockton.
She was grinding
but
this herself this morning,
People
so.
shop there, we shop there quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then we're going to add a little soy sauce. I'm using tamari today because we're also looking at options for gluten-free dining. So
Correct.
everything else in this is gluten-free. Soy sauce does have gluten, so if you
Soy
are
sauce is a
tolerant.
wheat product, but the tamari is not. It's
It's
right
not.
from the beans.
Yep, so-
I eat gluten-free, so I always keep tamari in the house. And for people that have problems with, I can't eat Chinese, I can't eat that, they can bring their own soy sauce
Tamari's
and
the way to
get
go.
steamed food. Works great, I love it.
Exactly. Also, there's coconut aminos or the Bragg's aminos works really well too for soy
really?
sauce. Yeah, the Bragg's
That's
is very soy saucy.
That's
So
interesting.
that's
I mean, even
another
the tamari is
option.
much stronger than regular soy
It can
sauce.
be, yeah.
But it's good, it's really good.
And then we have a sweet chili paste, so it's not hot, even though the word chili is in it. It's a sweet Chinese chili paste, so that's going to go in there, and we need just about a half teaspoon of that.
You
We're gonna
notice
mix
we're
that
done
all
with
up.
measuring spoons and measuring cups. Laura
all
knows,
up
I mean,
here.
Laura and Carlos cook daily. Laura's a professional chef, but even I don't measure anymore. Baking, maybe I do, but
How are
cooking,
those
not
veggies
really.
coming okay?
They're coming along there. Another couple minutes there, we should be ready to pop them off of here.
So we're going to make 2 burgers with this pork while those are still sweating out. So if you want to divide that, do you mind?
Sure.
And we're going to put them right in the middle of foil. And then
Divide it in
this-
half.
And the
Yeah.
foil is an interesting thing, because this burger goes in packets.
It
What they're
does.
calling foil packets. And that means that you could put it on the grill and it won't fall apart.
Absolutely.
But you
Or
can
in the
also
oven.
put it in the oven.
And then there's a nice little sauce that goes on there. So we've got some of that marinated kind of flavor going on. If you have time to do this, let it sit for about an hour. It'll just develop those flavors really beautifully. We don't want you sitting around your couch for an hour waiting for this to marinate, so we're going to move on with it. But if you have the time, let them just sit wrapped up and they'll be delicious. And then a little sauce that goes on top, and that's going to keep it really moist, add another layer of flavor. It's going to be great. So we're going to add in some fresh cilantro, some coconut cream, which, where's my can? So you've all seen the coconut milk. The coconut cream is that thick stuff that you usually have to break through when you open up the can. I have on
That's good to know.
occasion
Show
seen the cream.
that.
Yep.
Because I've opened that can and thought, oh, what's all this stuff?
Yeah, it's really the peanut butter you're gonna mix a little bit, but this is the hard stuff. That's the cream. So with the stuff that your spoon stands up in, that's what you want to use. Occasionally, like I said, I have seen it actually the whole can of coconut cream. Don't always see it.
And if
So
you're using coconut milk, you'd mix it up?
you would mix it up. Yep.
That's what I thought.
So we're gonna add a little bit of that in there, and that's like you can see, that's like the butter.
Right.
Right.
And coconut cream, again, it's gluten-free, it's dairy-free.
And it's healthy, like, right?
It is.
Coconut,
Yeah, coconut milk
And
is.
and mainly I do eat gluten-free and dairy-free, so this stuff works for me.
Yeah.
We
And,
talked about that, and we know a lot of people eat that way these
Can you chop
days.
that up for
So
me,
we
please?
really wanted to
Just
work
mince the whole
hard
thing?
to bring you some of
Yeah.
those recipes,
We're also adding a tablespoon of lime juice, very typical in Asian cooking.
which is about, what, a half?
About
Half of a small lime?
Yeah, about a half. But you want to, we always tell you, pick the heavy fruit, gives you a lot of nice juice. A little bit of brown sugar, that always tempers the flavor, so we want to add a little bit of that. Just want to make sure we don't miss anything. We're going to add a little bit of coriander, a little bit of pickled ginger. So we're getting the regular ginger that's in the burger,
No.
and then pickled ginger in this, which is going to be a little bit sweeter, add a nice little layer.
What are we doing?
We're going to toss that right in here. There's a lot of cilantro in here. So this is one, if you don't like cilantro,
Right, and
I'm
I'm
not
personally
gonna
not a
tell
lover of
you.
cilantro. Not that any of you care, but
You're
I'm
gonna
telling
try.
you anyway. I will try, because I'm hungry,
then we-
so I'm happy to try it.
we have beautiful fresh mint.
Right.
Like any herb, you want to hold it from the top of where it grows and just strip it down. The leaves will come right off,
Right.
because you don't want to
This is from my garden.
Oh.
I've been growing mint all year, and
Mint?
this is spearmint.
Chop it?
And
Chop it, please,
it's
yes.
fabulous. I
we
found that
have
you
it
can
to
put
get-
mint in a lot of recipes that you wouldn't think mint
looks
would
good.
go in.
Yeah.
I add it like basil to everything.
It is, it's wonderful in a lot of
I mean, you can
flavors.
smell it now.
Yeah, the Portuguese do a soup, and I don't know what the soup is called, but it's got mint in it. It is so good.
It is. It goes
Yeah.
in a lot of things.
You in the audience, can you smell this?
A little refreshing. And then we have our little bit of hot chili as well that we're just going to mince up. Excuse me. Oh, your onions are looking really good.
They're done.
So we're just going to keep
great.
mixing this up. We're going to pour this sauce over the bulgogi burgers, and then we're going to wrap it up tight in the bundles. We're going to pop it in the oven for about 15 minutes, and we'll come back to them. So Carlos, you want to keep working on your black
Absolutely.
bean?
I will do
And
that.
Laura, you're going to finish up the
I'll finish
bulgogi,
these up.
right?
And the food processor.
Oh, absolutely. This is an ancient piece of equipment, folks, but it works.
It works. So you just throw this in here. Throw that in there.
Now, what's the purpose of adding it, so you can mix everything
Yeah,
together?
it kind of does its thing. And there's some brown rice that I cooked before coming out. So there's maybe a cup and a half of brown rice here.
In the recipe, when you look for it, there's salt, water, and brown rice.
About 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's how that was made.
So, and then we just do this,
You
the
wanna-
top. Yeah.
Like that. We'll turn that around so you'll get a better view, perhaps. And this is the cover.
Yep.
Let me go this way.
Yep, sorry.
And I forgot to
Not
tell
my
you,
machine.
there's also mango in this sauce. I almost forgot that.
mango.
So yeah, it's a nice little fruity sweetness.
How long does that pulse?
Yeah, just pulse a little bit, just so it's all kind of incorporated in there.
Together.
Yeah.
No, just pull it this way.
It's not my grinder
But be
here.
careful
Yeah,
of that
Perfect.
thing.
So then what we do is, you could throw the black beans in there. I like the black beans not as mushy as everything else that's in there. What I do is I just use a fork to mush up the black beans.
These are
And
pretty
these are just
soft.
from a can
Yeah, these are from a can. Yeah, I
and
don't-
drained?
Yeah, and
That's it?
drained and rinse and
You all
drained.
know probably you can do a lot. You
Yeah.
can get the beans dry, you can soak them,
Yeah,
what,
and there's
days?
so many great beans out there. I've fallen in love with doing my own beans at home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's some gigantes and some.
Wow.
Some of them taste like potatoes and.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, there's.
Sounds like we could do a bean show.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And what I'm going to do, yep, I'm just going to take this out of here. Just put this here. And I'm going to fold this mixture in here.
So yeah, the starchiness of the beans, the starchiness of the rice, pulling it all together essentially.
Oh, let's look at this before Laura closes it up. Hang a minute.
So there's your
You can
burger,
mix.
the pork
Look how
underneath and our
beautiful
little
they are.
mix.
Can you see
Yeah.
those? Let's tip it. Can we hold your hand
Can you see?
underneath one of them and just
Those look
show it
delicious.
up so you can see? That looks fabulous, and we're just making a little kind of
Make
packet.
a packet, make
for
sure your
it.
ends are sealed,
Correct.
especially if you put it on the grill.
Seriously. And you can see this is looking great, really. It
Last-
doesn't look like a burger.
Not yet. Last thing that goes in here is a little bit of just some Italian seasoned breadcrumbs.
You can use fresh breadcrumbs, of course, and it's a great thing to do with old bread and the heels of bread that nobody likes to use.
Absolutely.
I save them in the freezer all the time. I have a gluten-free package and a regular breadcrumb package. I also want to tell you, as long as we have a couple minutes here, we're going to do something really fascinating today. We're going to use, I've contacted Blue Hills Brewery. They are a microbrewery, and that's hard to say, brewery, in Canton. And he has chosen some special brews to go with our burgers. And near the end of the show, he's going to explain why he picked the brews he picked. They sell 20-ounce bottles.
Yeah, the
They're
growlers,
huge.
yeah.
Wow.
I had to carry them.
Well, last thing that I throw in here is a little bit of salt and pepper.
Okay. So Carlos, you're still mixing up
I
the
am.
black bean. Are
I
you
am.
ready to cook?
It's all mixed in. What you do is there's a mixture of breadcrumbs and cornmeal there. You just
Be nice
grab,
to see that.
grab a little, as big a burger as you want.
So we've got a
As you
couple of
like to
rolls,
have.
big full-size rolls. We've got a couple of slider rolls. Any of these can be sliders as well as full-size burgers. And we got the rolls from O'Brien's Bakery at the farmer's market. It was lovely to give that to
It's got
us.
some good stuff.
So you're making a burger for Big Roll, it looks like.
Not too big of a, they usually make a lot bigger. And they kind of go in here for about,
Doesn't look like much oil.
no, just a little bit. Because, again, you want it just to kind of brown up a little bit. You don't want it to kind of deep fry it or anything.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
what
because
I-
it's already pretty much cooked, if you recall. The beans are
Yep.
cooked, everything in there. There's no
just
raw
wanna
meat or anything
give
like
it that
that.
meat texture,
So
that
that's
look
a
to it.
really great thing about a burger like this. You know, it's not going to go bad as easily as a hamburger would sitting out anywhere. That's great.
and you kind of let it do its thing for about 3 minutes.
On each side, are you
On
saying?
each side, yep.
Okay. And Laura looks like she's starting on our fish burger.
Our fish
And is it
burger.
tilapia?
We are using tilapia today.
Tilapia.
Yeah. The original recipe, it's a southern recipe, so of course they're going to use catfish, which unfortunately we don't see that quite as often as we'd like
No,
to hear.
catfish is a wonderful
in the
fish,
north.
I've been told. Very plain fish.
It is, but the tilapia is a great substitute. It's a firmer fish, which helps, thank you, just kind of hold it together a little bit more.
I
It's
wanted
got-
you to see the ornament of the mustard so people can see that.
So, yeah,
Tilapia
it's-
is very common. It's out there. It's available everywhere.
Farm raised.
This
Yeah.
is a great one for pan searing too, because it
Oh,
does
okay.
hold together really well, where it's like your cods will just fall apart when you try to flip it. So we're just gonna give this a rough chop. This is all gonna go right in your food processor, so super easy. And in there already, I have some tarragon, some Creole seasoning, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, some mayonnaise.
Yeah.
We're gonna add a little Cajun mustard. Cajun mustard is just it's a coarser ground mustard.
Easy to find in the supermarket?
It's not.
Oh, it's not?
Not up here.
Oh, okay, there you
But
are. It's
any of
not.
your coarse ground, stone ground mustards, I don't know if you can see that in the container. A lot of the brands do make it.
Oh, that's
So you
great.
can use that as a substitute.
But not as good as like I use Country Dijon. It's not the same.
It's similar. You could use
Similar.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
you could use
So that's
that.
good to know for you guys. I just want to tell everybody the name of this burger, because you're going to see this recipe and you may not recognize it. It's called Old Miss Rebel Burger with Comeback Sauce. I said it fish burger because I wanted people to know. So we're going to make the sauce as well as the burger. I mean, I'm pretty excited to be able to offer 3 burgers to people that
Yeah.
aren't beef.
Right.
And the nice thing too, I mean, fish burger is a great way to say it, because a lot of times we have recipes and the fish that we want is not always the fish that's in the market, or it doesn't look so great that day because it's just that day. So a lot of fishes are interchangeable. And there's just a little bit of garlic
Like, could
that
you
I
use
added
cod
in
as
there.
well as that, or is it too soft?
You could use cod in this, yeah, because it is a ground burger and you've got some egg which is going to hold it together. We've got a little fresh parsley that we're going to tack in there. We've got a dash of hot sauce, good Louisiana hot sauce.
Yeah, chop
But
that.
Tabasco too is, yeah, that'd be great. Tabasco, of course, is made in Louisiana, so that would really
Right.
be kind of the
The hot
official
sauce
one.
capital of the world.
Absolutely.
As we travel on rides around the country, my son likes things hot, so I often bring him all kinds of crazy hot sauces.
And a little salt and pepper, and we're just going to grind this up and make a burger out of it, essentially. So you want it looking like a mush, for lack of a better
What's
term.
going to hold it together?
You've got egg. Go ahead, you could throw that in. We do have a little bit of, we're going to go cornmeal. Usually you
Oh,
can
the
use bread.
cornmeal,
You're
because
going
you
to
need
use,
some binder usually in every burger you make.
yeah, usually I would use the breadcrumb. Panko works really well with the fish burgers.
Excuse me,
And
I'm
it's
just
not
going to
much.
grab some water.
Let me just make sure, yep. So it's just like about a quarter of a cup, because the protein of the fish burger and we got a little bit of the mayo and the egg is going to help all glue it together. This isn't a great on the grill burger. I would just say that, unless you have one of those racks that you can put it on. It's really a better pan fried burger. And this has a fun sauce. It's called comeback sauce.
Comeback sauce.
And that was developed in Mississippi, and it was Greek immigrants that had a restaurant, and they wanted a sauce that would make people come back, and they did. So forgive me for a second. We'll keep an eye on those. I'm just going to grind this
You can
up.
see how fabulous these look. On the one side, they look great. They're really nicely browned. Did you put mayo in there?
I did.
Yeah, so
I
that's a
did.
good binder too.
So there we go. I mean, that's how hard that was. Just throw your ingredients in, and you get kind of a mush that looks like oatmeal.
A brown mush.
And brown mush, fishy mush.
You
I've
can
got
put
a little-
food coloring in. You can have red, white, and blue burgers too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why
come on.
ruin it?
Come on.
So I have a little olive oil in this pan, and we're just gonna form a little burger. It's gonna be really soft, as you can see,
There you go.
but once it starts to cook, it will glue itself together. You don't wanna make them too thick either, that's the other key. You make them too thick, it takes too long. Fish is delicate, so it will burn the outside by the time the inside is done.
Laura, is this the type of thing that you could make the mix ahead and put it in the fridge? So if people were having company and they were having a big barbecue, they could bring out a plate of this, a plate of the black bean stuff, and just throw burgers?
You could, but I wouldn't let it sit too long,
long.
like same day.
Same day.
Cook it same
Okay.
day on this, yeah. It is still raw fish.
Okay, two's okay.
And putting it in the refrigerator would probably help it kind of stay
It'll help it a
stiffer
little bit,
and,
yeah.
hold its shape.
So we're just gonna let those get started.
So Carlos, you're going to put the
I
burgers on the buns?
I am going to put
What
it
kind
here.
of sauce would you put on black bean burger?
Yeah, typically we don't put a sauce. I don't.
Yeah?
I just put some cheese on it, pop it underneath the broiler for
Okay.
a few seconds, maybe 45 seconds,
Okay.
and it does its goodness. But
And Laura's putting on the fish burgers. They smell fabulous.
Get that one up
Everything
there.
looks terrific.
And our
Look how
cup-
nicely they are cooked.
They're beautiful, we got a broken piece, but don't look at
Fabulous.
that. And our comeback sauce, that's the famous sauce. So we've got a little grated onion, lemon juice, ketchup, olive oil, chili sauce, Worcestershire sauce, a little dry mustard,
Sure.
salt, and pepper. And we're just gonna mix that up. A little grated onion is in there as well. This is the famous comeback. Have them keep coming back for more. And Carlos, you want to grab those Bulgogi burgers?
I
We just
will.
put them on a plate.
I
Those
will.
don't really need a roll. You can eat them just as is, right out of the
Because
packet.
it's got the cilantro on top, it's more like a meal than actually a burger. But I don't know if any of you watch Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, but I sometimes do. And he's taking a bite of things that are this tall.
Seriously,
So that's
I
a
know.
burger that could be on a roll that anybody could take a bite of if they can open
Smell
their mouth
delicious.
that far.
So
They
look how
smell
pretty
delicious.
those are.
Can we open
all the
this a little
color?
bit more? I just want to make sure
There's
everybody
a lot of
sees
juice though. I
that.
just don't want the juice to run.
Yeah, right.
no, they smell
So
delicious.
we've got the we've got the fish burgers with the comeback sauce. We've got the bulgogi burgers that are the Korean barbecue, and we have the black bean burgers. These are 3 fabulous burgers. Thank you so much
Oh,
for
you're
doing these
welcome.
burgers for us today. Appreciate it, and hopefully everybody else appreciates it. So we've made these fabulous burgers for you, and we thought beer went great with burgers. Also, some of the sides we've been doing all along, but you want something nice and cold and crisp. We have Andris here again from Blue Hill Brewery, and he's in Canton, and they make their own microbrews. I actually did go down there and see all the vats and everything. They do tastings on Fridays and Saturdays.
Yep.
Are they free?
Friday afternoons, Saturday afternoons, yes, they're free.
They're free, so you can go
Yep.
in, taste beers,
Taste some
see
product,
everything.
purchase some beer to take home.
Right.
Absolutely.
They're big bottles. I just want to point out, I was amazed at how large beer bottles, I've never seen them like this. So we made 3 burgers for you, and Andris is going to tell us which beer he picked to go with which of the burgers. So first we have the black bean burger,
Yes, for the black bean burger,
the Imperial.
Yeah, we discussed that the Imperial Red IPA would be a nice match for it. It's a very strong beer. The black bean burger is a very hearty burger. It's a
Right.
hearty meal.
It was.
And it would go very well with the Imperial Red IPA. It's got a nice hop balance to it, but a strong malt backbone.
And the next burger we did was the pork bulgogi burger, which was a barbecue, Korean kind of barbecue beer. Mm-hmm. And
That
you
looks like it
selected
should go on an
the
open face plate, but you know, that's,
yes,
that's
yes,
just
it
my,
should.
that's just my
And you
personal
picked the Brew
critique.
House, I think, for
Yes,
that
I
one.
picked the Brew House IPA because that the burger itself had some mango. What else was in there? Some coconut,
Right,
I believe.
right.
Yep.
And there's definitely a sauce, and there's cilantro all over the
Oh,
top. Yeah.
Fabulous stuff. And yes, the Brew House IPA right now that we're putting out is a citrus-infused IPA. So it's got a more of a like a blood orange grapefruit character to it. So that would
So a
really
little
go
bit
well.
tart, but sweet,
Yeah,
but
a little
fruity.
bit tart, and it would go really well with the mango cilantro. Great compliment to the meal itself.
Right. And this
Something that'll
this
just
is
keep
really
you going
exciting
back.
me, because you know people that I'm the sweet person. I like to eat and drink sweet.
You're just
This
a
is
sweet one.
watermelon beer. I am. So watermelon beer with the fish burger. Why?
Yeah. Why? Come on, fish.
I know.
It's a light, fluffy. Just think of fish. You're not thinking bogged down with a
Right.
real fatty meal, with big pork chop or something. It's a fish burger, Very light, fluffy, flavorful. Watermelon wheat. It's a very light summer beer, and in particular because of the watermelon character, like by the pool, on the beach, wherever
Right.
you are, on the patio, eating that fish burger. Very
And this
tasty.
fish burger has a sauce on it called comeback sauce, which
Really?
had a lot, yeah.
So come back and get some more.
Yeah, so come back and get some more, and that's what it's about, of course. So we've got these fabulous burgers, we've got these fabulous brews. How long have you been in business?
We've been in Canton now for about 7.5 years.
Right. So local, feel free to go over there and taste and have a good time. And feel free to watch more Get Fresh and try our burgers, try the beer, have a good time. Thank you all so much for being with us. We look forward to seeing you soon.